What's up, Math 8? Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're going to be looking at lesson 4.7, day 1. So this is going to be like the second half of chapter 4, and we're going to talk about angle relationships. Specifically, we're going to use complementary, supplementary, and vertical angle relationships to discuss what those mean. You may have gotten a printout of your notes, so these are going to be a little bit easier to fill out. So let's go ahead and fill out those blanks for the first section. Supplementary angles are angles that add up to 180 degrees. So if you remember, 180 degrees is half of a circle, so they would be performing a line. Like if we have letter A and letter B, and they're performing a line or a straight line, we can say that A plus B is equal to 180. Complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. 90 degrees looks like a corner, and it has a little right angle symbol there. And if you have maybe angle C and angle D, you can say C plus D is equal to 90 degrees. The last one we're going to discuss today is vertical angles, and those are angles formed by intersecting lines. They are opposite of one another and they're congruent. So vertical angles kind of have a lot going on. That just means we take a line and we intersect it with another line. So maybe this is line M, this is line N. And if we have angle 1 here, it's going to be equal to angle 2 here. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because they are vertical. Okay. The reason why they're vertical is because they are opposite of one another, and because they're opposite of one another, they are also congruent. We also have another pair of vertical angles. You can say that angle 3 and angle 4 are congruent. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 for the same reasons. They are vertical angles. Okay? Make sure you have these 3 definitions copied down in your notes. When you're ready, go ahead and click play so we can go on and try some examples. All right, what we're going to do here is we have a set of a lot of letters and angles. What we're going to do is we're going to try to find a pair of complementary angles, 4 pairs of supplementary angles, and then 2 pairs of vertical angles, which are opposites and equal. I want to maybe start with vertical angles because those are actually a little bit easier to see. If you look here in this this intersecting line, you can say that angle G and angle I are opposite one another. So we could say angle G and angle I are vertical. That's one pair. The other pair I'm seeing is this intersection of lines. I have angle D is opposite from angle F. So angle D and angle F. Okay, let's go on and look at the supplementary angles. Remember, supplementary angles have to be forming 180 degrees. So let's go ahead and look to see where we can find that. 180 degrees means a straight line. So some of these you might have to tilt your head to the side. For example, D and E are performing a straight line. That is one pair. So pair 1 would be angle D and angle E. Okay. If you erase that line here and you tilt your head to the side or tilt your head upside down, you can see that E and F are also making a straight line, right? So the second pair we see is angle E and angle F. As we continue going through these, let's go down here to maybe G, H, and I. You can do the same thing there. The third angle I'm seeing, if I see a straight line right here, G and H are right next to one another and they're making a straight line. So angle G and angle H are supplementary. And then we have one more to find, and it's actually right near G and H. It's going to be H and I. Hi, they are also making a straight line. So we could say that H and I, angle H and angle I, are also supplementary angles. The last one is kind of tricky to find because the last one is also going to be considered they're going to be vertical from a complementary or a 90-degree angle. We know that this right here is a 90-degree angle, which means this across from it would also be 90 degrees, right? So the one pair of complementary angles, and if you've already guessed it, good job, is angle B and angle C, because what they're doing is they're creating a corner, which is 90 degrees together. The last section of our notes is we're going to be able to find the missing values of each one of these letters. Right now it looks kind of tough, but we're going to solve it based on our information of complementary angles, supplementary angles, and vertical angles. Let's get started. Let's maybe start with letter E. Letter E is right here next to this 90-degree angle, and notice that E is on a straight line with that 90-degree angle, so we can probably say that E is equal to 90 degrees. Okay? If I continue looking down here, I also have angle G. G is right next to this 30-degree mark, and 30 degrees is a part of that straight line. Remember, a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. So what I can do to figure out angle G is if I take 180 and subtract 30 from it, I'm going to figure out what G is equal to. G is equal to 150 degrees because these are supplementary angles. If you tilt your head to the side slightly, notice that a letter F is right next to letter G. Letter F and letter G are still making a straight line, so you can say that those are supplementary angles. Or notice that letter F is exactly across from 30 degrees. These are called vertical angles. So letter F is equal to 30 degrees. Let's come over here to A and B. Letter A is vertical from 120, right? So A is also going to be 120 degrees. If I look at letter B is right next to 120, and it's making a straight line either this way, or A and B are making a straight line together. That means A plus B should be equal to 180 degrees as supplementary angles. I already have 120, so what I can do is take 180 and subtract 120, and that will give me my B value of 60 degrees. Next part, let's zoom in and focus on C. I've got a lot going on here, so what I'd rather do is just focus on one thing at a time. C and 80 degrees are again making a straight line. Because they're making a straight line, that means they are equal to 180 degrees. So if I already have 80 degrees of that, I just subtract 80 from 180 and I get 100. So C is equal to 100 degrees. The last one we haven't discussed is letter D. Notice how letter D is right next to 20 degrees and it's right next to this 90-degree angle. Something we might want to consider is that it's still building a straight line. So the straight line currently has 90 and it also has 20. When we know we have 90 and 20 put together, that's equal to 110. So to find out the leftover amount, I can do 110 subtracted from 180, and I'm going to get 70 degrees. So D is equal to 70 degrees. Other people have also seen that this is a right angle as well. So 20 plus this should be equal to 90 degrees. So you could take 20 and subtract it from 90 and still get your 70. That's going to conclude the values of our missing angles that we were supposed to find here, where we were practicing complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles. Hopefully this video helped you, and if it did, please give it a thumbs up and come back